I think we're live. I'm not sure yet if we're live. Could be live. Could be live on the channel. It says on the screen here, being broadcast, streaming live. Joey only here, up in the Caribou Mountains. It's snowing right now. Welcome to the show. And I got Hilding and Hank already in studio with me, so that's great. Great. Good to see you guys. How you doing this week?
Just fine.
Doing good. Oh, hey.
But I need a little more than a one-word answer. You know, that's be a really long show if it's like just fine.
Oh, we aren't having any cold weather yet. If that makes a difference.
Not quite yet. Although I'm not convinced that we aren't going to see some yet. There's two different forecast models, and they don't quite agree. Of course, the ECMWF is suggesting it's going to be, you know, winterish in BC, and the GFAS is saying it's going to get cold. So I got this new puppy, and puppies aren't very good at planning. So I tried to tell them there's a show tonight, and you know, I was like, there's a show tonight, so if you got to pee and poo now, you know, and I put him out there and tried it, and no luck, no, and he wasn't too interested in doing it, and I said to him, like, if you know, do it on my floor in the middle of the show, everyone on YouTube's gonna think you're a bad dog. So we'll see if that has any effect. Brandon right now is currently he's a part of he's at a Santa Claus parade or something is going on. So we are going to see him, but I think he's going to be just a touch late. And I have a feeling that no sooner than I start this, I'm going to have a dog who wants to go outside. But here we are. Welcome to the Comedeorological Report pre-recorded. This is where we come together and we record the show, or we record what becomes the show. It's the pre-recording of the show, but it's also a show because it's live, but it's not really the show. The show goes on radio and TV, which you can also find on this YouTube, the finished version, the edited version, the show. And the show, this is not the show. This is prior to the show, so this is the pre-show.
Raw material.
Yes. So none of this is being. If you're here at the live stream, thank you very much. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like, maybe subscribe if you haven't before. Thanks for all the returnees. So here's what we're looking at for the North Coast. The North Coast is going to see 150 millimeters of rain by Saturday morning. A weather system will continue to bring heavy rain to the BC North Coast tonight. A brief lull is possible Friday morning, then heavy rain is expected through Saturday morning. 55 millimeters of rainfall accumulation has been reported at Prince Rupert. Heavy downpours can cause flash floods and pooling on the road. I mean, there's going to be about a meter of snow up in the mountains near there. 40 to 70 millimeters inland of rain. So in the valleys and whatnot, 40 to 70 miles. So the Pacific weather system is stalling over the region until Saturday. Snow will gradually transition to rain, mixed with wet snow this evening overnight. The rain will increase in intensity tonight and continue Friday. Okay, I can hear myself in someone's, I'm not sure, it might be you, Hilding, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to mute myself here.
What you want to do is just turn your volume down a little bit, so, or what you can do as well is you can go into your settings on your audio and have it, you can set it so that it won't pick up background noises.
Really?
Watch for washouts near rivers, creeks, and culverts. Yeah, it gives you a little bit more of a muffled sound, like.
Hey, Jack.
You know, like,
are you going to be talking and stuff? Because I'm on a Zoom meeting. Is it possible to be quiet? Okay, Jack's going to be quiet for me.
I'm a good boy.
Okay, Imogen's coming into the room, so there we go. Hadn't heard from her, so didn't know. So Imogen's coming. So here's the thing I'm kind of talking about. looking into like next week. So this is overnight, say on Friday the 24th into Saturday the 25th. And what you see here is, hey, that's wintry weather, I guess. Some all across the west, minuses 15. So here's what one idea says. But if you look at the GFS model, whoa, it's got a totally different idea. It's got a totally different
Wow.
idea.
Is that
Right.
at nighttime or daytime? I didn't see.
This is nighttime. I picked the nighttime because we're gonna get the coldest values in the nighttime, evening imaging. Gonna get the coldest values in the nighttime, so I thought that's a good place to kind of use. So I took the dog out to the mountain logging today, and he ran through the snow and played, and it was a lot of. I thought maybe he would just be pooped and want to sleep all night, but no, he's chewing on a box behind me, and that may be the way it is.
Based on what you've shown us about the BC forecast, I don't think they're going to need your firefighting skills anytime soon, eh?
Not until the spring. Not into the spring, and I haven't heard back about forecasting jobs. So, yeah, glass ceiling for Joey forever. That's kind of how it is. But hey, look, the channel's growing, so that's great news, right? So overnight Friday, hey, that's cold weather, and wow, look at that way up there. If you're up by Yellowknife, you could see some extreme cold. Yes. So here's the two competing ideas that we're really concerned about. Both have cold weather going straight down into the United States. So that's something at least. But this one being a lot more severe. So two competing models. And I have to move our heads a little bit there, my thing. New snow over the next 10 days. Not a whole lot in southern BC. In the Kootenays, maybe a little. This is the GFS model. This is the colder model. But we see, Terrace area, the mountains up there getting buried. So the GFS model thinks less snow for everybody. Terrace. But ESMWF, it kind of agrees on southern BC. Right? And it says, holy man, up by Terrace, up in the Coast Mountains up there, big time snow. So there's that. Rain accumulation. Man, some big time precipitation hitting that coast. So I'm sure Brandon's going to walk us through this when he does get in. Brandon's a Santa Claus parade. He likes to do community-minded civic things, which he's really good at that stuff, which is why he's perfect for the job he has on radio. Whereas I don't really like to do community civic-minded things. Like if there's a Santa Claus parade, I'd be like, well, I guess I should go and get some video. That's one of the things that this channel, Brandon just said, just got back from the parade. You'll be here in a bit. So one of the things about having this YouTube channel is it keeps me talking. So
what's going to happen?
Brandon will be here in a bit. Your audio is really rough, Hank. We got to figure out a way to make your audio so that it doesn't sound like we're talking into a cup.
I can try switching to those headphones I was using last time. I could try that.
Even that sounds better what you're doing there. Maybe when you're closer or something to the mic or something.
Well, my microphone's in my ear.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Well, unless I'm blocking the mic with my hand, that maybe there's using the phone mic. Does that sound better?
No, maybe now that I know that, I guess maybe I understand. Okay. That you're not speaking into something, it's rumbling through your head.
Is it better like this than it is like that? Is this bad?
It's not terrible right now. Just try to be mindful, I guess, to be clear, because it can be really like this sometimes.
I'll try my bigger headphones. Maybe they'll be better.
Okay. I want to be able to hear you properly. Brandon's sending video of the Santa Claus parade. Imogen, what's your week been like?
Pretty uneventful, I guess. Not a whole lot of stuff going on. More of the same old, same old. Boring, mild weather, a little bit of drizzle. That's pretty much it.
You're trying to tell me you did nothing interesting all week?
Pretty much. You're
Nothing?
welcome.
Does nobody have anything to talk about on this show? I'm concerned. Concerned that no one has anything to talk about. At least when Brandon gets here, he seems to have things to talk about because he's pretty crazy about Santa Claus parades. There's a couple, already some Avalanche incidents. There's an area called Quartz Creek Snowmobile area, which is this is kind of the golden area. It's not too far from where that Terminator 2 bowl is that had the fatalities in the spring there. 3 people were in this group, but no one was injured, no one was buried. So size 2 skier accidental slab avalanche north aspect. Party was skidding along top ridge. First skier set track along wind-loaded ridge feature to avoid bare rock. As the 2 other skiers followed, they triggered the slope from the skin track. No skiers were caught in the avalanche. Ground depth range 110 centimeters and was 80 centimeters wide. The avalanche ran 200 meters. Snow resistance at the crown ranged from 1 figure to pencil and failed on 10 centimeters of faceted snow at the ground level. As we traveled further along the ridge, we observed several old natural avalanches that failed in the past 24 to 48 hours. So there's that incident. But we also have a fatal incident that happened this week already, and that's over in the Kananaskis side. The Lone Ranger, this incident's been named. And I'm just trying to zoom in here and get a better look at the terrain. But it's in Peter Lougheed Park on, I don't know how many Mount Murrays there is in British Columbia. There's a lot of them. There's one here in Wells. There's a Murray Ridge in Fort St. James. There's a Mount Murray, 3,024 meters. Pretty big mountain where the accident happened over on the Alberta side, Kananaskis area, Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. An ice climbing party. 2 people caught. This ice climbing party of 2 had just finished climbing the Lone Ranger ice climb in Ranger Creek, Peter Lougheed Provincial Park. They were starting their descent on foot from the base of the climb when they were struck above by a size 2 wind slab avalanche. They were swept into a gully feature on the slope below. One member of the group was partially buried, but able to dig themselves out. The other was fully buried and did not survive. The wind slab avalanche had developed rapidly above a reactive crust that formed on November 10th. Other dry, loose, and wind slab avalanches were noted to have occurred in the area. So, first fatality of the year. It's already happened. Pretty early, I suppose, but that's what people think, is they think, hey, it's early. And they go out and it's not as early as they think. Already quite a bit of snow in some of the places of the mountains. So wet in the north, dry in the south is kind of the tale that's developing. A tale of 2 provinces is the plot for today and Friday. A ridge of high pressure is built over the southern BC and is giving that region mainly clear and dry conditions today. To the north of the ridge, a funnel system moving across the coast is spreading rain and wind to the areas north of Vancouver Island. Moisture associated with the system will move across the northern and central interior, giving widespread snow to the mountain slopes of the Rockies. Snowing here in Wells right now. Caribous. Similar conditions will persist over the north and central BC on Friday, with coastal rain and wind to the north of Vancouver and clouds over the interior and snow near the Rockies. Southern BC will stay dry and clear. Okay. Got a puppy that's doing puppy things. I'm going to have to get used to that. You all are. Still just 6:48. So we got a little bit of time yet. Frankie comes on at 7 p.m. And we're all looking forward to Frankie McDonald. Very, very much.
Can't wait.
Can't wait.
Off of there.
Shall we look at more forecast models, or does somebody want to talk about something?
What about your puppy?
We haven't seen him on screen. Him or her?
He's a him. Eventually he'll come over here and maybe I'll pull him up.
Yeah.
Eventually. But yeah, I need to know what you guys have to talk about for the show tonight.
Well,
So that when we come showtime, I can be like, this
We
is
don't
what's
have-
happening.
no snow over here in Wilkie yet. Believe it or not, it's really, really late.
Did you catch any northern lights this last week? Hank? Hank? Did you catch any northern lights this week?
Oh, Northern Lights? I missed it. It wasn't quite as big a show as the previous one, but based on the photos I saw, it started out nice with some reds in there. So it was a good show for a short while, but then it kind of, it didn't last very long before it was pretty, generic again. The previous show, I can't remember the date, but more like 2-3 weeks ago. That one's bigger.
And style tool and fashion. Glitter is useful.
And Imogen's saying some weird stuff.
A lot of glitter. I'm very happy about this.
Her screen is black and she's very happy. Maybe I could mute her while her screen's black.
Here's some sound in the background there.
Yeah, I don't know if she wants us to be overhearing our conversation. Maybe we want to overhear this conversation. Maybe this is something like, maybe this is big news. And we're all waiting to see.
I know, you can hear me like a bell on a cat. My bracelets. Hold on. Oh, son of a bitch.
How come your screen's all black? There
I
you
turned my
go.
camera off while I was moving around and doing shit. I had to go in the other room.
Nice.
Yeah. It's my bracelets y'all were hearing. They're jingling.
How many bracelets is that?
I think there's about 20 of them, 15 or 20 roundabouts. Yeah.
I guess that's like one way to keep those arms piping, eh?
I guess, I mean, if a little bit of that crap is hard for you, then yes.
There we are.
Here he is. This is the new pup.
Ooh.
Little red healer.
Hello, little dog.
He's just a little baby.
Yeah, awesome.
Yes, he is. He's a very sweet boy. He's a pretty well-behaved dog. He doesn't really do anything bad. And he loves to snuggle. So what's wrong with that? Like if I let him, he'll probably just stay there for a while.
And it sounds like the perfect situation for you. It sounds like you have someone lined up to watch the dog during fire season already.
That's correct. Yes. And that's why I haven't had any pets, and that's what's made things really lonely here. I don't mind being alone for long stretches of time, but without an animal around, man, that's tough. That is tough.
You said Meowie is gone. Where did she go?
Oh, Meowie, I have no idea where he went. If I knew, then he wouldn't be gone. Like, where did you lose him?
Everyone wants to know whether that volcano in Iceland is going to erupt and how soon. That's what everybody wants to know.
Well, I don't think it's going to be as big as people think. Right? Like, it's this huge news right now. Volcano in Iceland, and everyone thinks it's going to... But I don't think the explosivity that's expected, if it does go, I don't think the magma chamber, from what I've been looking at, is big enough to really... I mean, it might destroy the town. Sure, but...
Small town, I think.
Yeah, like depending where the fissures come up and what happens. it could be like that. But I mean, all in all, I don't think that this is, even the possibility of it affecting air traffic. I mean, for Europe and stuff, right? I don't think the explosivity will be there. 6:54, and Frankie will be along in 6 minutes. He's always right on time. I can't find the cord for my beard trimmer, and I'm fundamentally lazy, so now I'm growing a beard. I don't know how long, but it's possible that next time I get my hair cut, I'll say to Joe, the barber in Quesnel, shave the face too, please, and then I'll try to stay on top of it again for a while. Because I really hate how it feels. Like, a lot. I've always hated facial hair. I've never had it my whole life. But what's happened is that as I get, become manlier with age, it grows faster and thicker and harder. And you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So it's like you kind of let it go for 3 days, and you're like, man.
Yeah.
And that's how you end up inadvertently growing a beard.
My worst for quite a long while was that I would get ingrown hairs in my cheeks. So I used to always shave my cheeks and let the rest of my beard grow, or let my mustache grow and forget about my beard and keep a little bit on my chin. Now I finally got past the point where the ingrown hairs are a problem anymore. So now I like to keep it the way it is. If I shave it all down, I'm gonna have ingrown hairs again when it starts coming out.
It's so stupid.
Yeah. I'm
Like
50 years old. If I shave my beard off, and then if I'm wearing a hat on top of that, no beard, hat, I look basically like a kid. People think I'm 20 something, crazy how that
that's
face looks.
well, it's true because the gray that's in my hair, you can kind of not notice it from the muddiness of my hair color. But I mean, those guys, they're pretty clear. I got gray coming out. But hey, I'm 44. I was up on a mountain today, cutting trees up and falling trees, and I feel pretty good. Look all right, I guess, all in all, but I'm healthy.
3 of us have some gray in our beard. Not Brandon. He's just all red hair kid. He's just red hair out of control.
In 30 years, he'll have a gray hair.
Building with beard hair out of control. Me, my hair just won't grow, period.
Well, 30 years ago, when I first grew a beard, everybody suddenly noticed that I was a redhead. Nobody noticed it before, but they noticed it once my beard grew out because my beard is really red. Now nobody notices it anymore because it's all gray.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I got that reddish going on too. It doesn't really show up in my hair, but it grows out of my face. So that's weird shit. Having a bit. So, evening, everybody. I hope people have joined us, and if you've just joined us, we've already talked about how ECMWF is calling for relatively mild over the next 10 days compared to GFS, which is looking like northern and eastern British Columbia especially are going to get freaking cold, man. Freaking cold. Brandon Hauk is just entering the studio. Shelly Selinsky asked me, what did I call the puppy? I think I'm going to call him Kenny. Think so. I haven't fully settled on it yet, but I think he's my Kenny. Obviously, in honor of Ken Patrick, that firefighter who died on the highway with his 3 crew members, my friend Kenny. He's a good firefighter. I'm worried that if I name the dog Kenny, that he'd spend a part of his life fighting with other dogs a lot and drinking hard, but he'll be a good firefighter, damn loyal friend. Hoke's just about here.
On Brandon.
Frankie's just about here. Everyone's just about here. It's just about recording time. I'm so glad. Everyone put on their recording time, voices, and charm.
Brandon's combing his hair. That's what he's
He
doing.
might be. He might be. And he's just running from the Santa Claus parade. He's currently eating pad thai with one hand and combing with the other. And he's signing into Zoom with his nose and getting pad thai on the computer. So now he's got to clean the laptop panel. And oh no, pad thai on the laptop. Hence the delay, Brandon Hauk. Hence the delay. And coming back to the Fruit Loops challenge last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same flavor?
They're all the same flavor.
They really aren't. Joey just refuses to accept this.
Well, the argument that was given for why they aren't, you said, well, I just don't know the flavors. Ah, got you. Because the flavors...
you don't. You didn't actually listen to any of it or watch what I was doing, because every color that I pulled and guessed a different flavor, I was wrong on the flavor lining up with the color, but did state that it tasted different. However, you insist that you know what's best because, you're the expert on the cereal that you didn't try. I was the one tasting it, and I told you this tastes different than the last one.
Yeah, nice try. But the flavors clearly are on the box. The expected color flavor combination. So this should be able to eat them, and clearly if we can't prove that there's a link, we don't, then science has to say we have no proof that there's a link, that there's flavors. We still have no proof.
You're a creationist, aren't you?
No, I'm not a creationist. Absolutely not. What the fuck does that supposed to mean? I'm just talking about science.
The total dismissal of science.
No, it's not the total.
Hair until the bandits lose.
Because we can't eat a cereal and say it's my opinion that it tastes different. We have to be able to prove that a flavor and a taste are matchable. Otherwise, the experiment is a bust.
No,
that doesn't mean there is no flavor, but we did not prove that last week.
The purpose of it was to determine if it's all one flavor or if there's different flavors. Your argument was that it's one flavor, different colors. I said they taste different. And on tasting them blindfolded, I was guessing different colors because they tasted like different things.
This is a big time. This is going to go on. Next year at this time, we're going to still be running this experiment with new people. We're going to get every new guest to come on the show. That'll be the requirement. You got to bring a box of Fruit Loops onto the show. I was almost going to pick up a box of Fruit Loops last week. In fact, I'll do that this weekend, and I'll do the test next week myself. And I will try to nail the flavors.
Well, I was told in Europe they only put one flavor no matter what color they are, and in America they give different colors for the different flavors. I don't know what the exact science was, but I read about that.
So and I'm fully willing to be like, I think it's this flavor, not try to intentionally screw it.
Right.
I'll play fair. I'll play correctly.
Except
so far,
dismissing that when I tried it blindfolded was identifying different flavors.
But we didn't identify any flavors. That's the thing. We didn't conclusively identify a flavor. Okay, Frankie's here. Hey, I'm not saying you're incorrect. I'm just saying we don't have proof. So far, we've not proven that there was nobody nailed the flavor they thought that they were picking to the color of any Skittles or any of those things that we tried.
Actually, I videotaped a taste test that I did like a few days before the show, and the guy blindfolded did get pretty much every flavor correct.
Send it to me. I want it.
It's on my YouTube channel.
Okay. Everybody, it's on Imogen's YouTube channel. Dog! Hey! Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, okay.
What was the magnitude, Joey?
Well, it's like there's the cord hangs down over the table, and then so you decide to go over the cord or something. And there we go. Frankie's here.
Yes.
Let's hit record and try this out. Good morning, Prince George. Hello, afternoon, Winnipeg. Listeners of CFUR and CKW. Hello, CFBX listeners in Kamloops and Shaw Spotlight viewers down there on Vancouver Island area. Welcome to the Comedeorological Report. I'm Joey Only, your host up in Wells, British Columbia, where it is currently snowing tonight. And we have expectations for British Columbia. North Coast is going to get some pretty heavy rainfalls this weekend, up to a meter of snow and more in the mountains of Terrace. We got two different forecast models. One is saying for British Columbia over the next 10 days, it's going to get real cold. And one's saying, well, it's going to be kind of winter-like. And we got everybody on the panel here tonight. We got Frankie McDonald, we got Brandon Houck, we got Imogen Cookie Bailey, we got Hank Fleistra, we got Hilding Donaldson, the whole panel to talk about the comedy that is the weather in Canada. Because the weather is funny business. This is your show about how much the weather sucks in Canada. Comedy plus meteorology. Comedeorology. Good evening, Frankie McDonald out there in Sydney, Nova Scotia. He's the star of the show. He's not outside, so I imagine the weather is pretty brutal. I think we're expecting to see some pretty bad weather going through Frankie's neighborhood, so he's inside tonight. I like when he's inside because then he looks at the computer and he's got all his forecast models and he nails his weather. Frankie, how's the weather doing so far in Sydney, Nova Scotia?
Right now, it's cold outside. They get high winds and heavy rain heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Saturday. Then they got lots of rain and wind heading for Vancouver, British Columbia as well on the west coast. It's going to be really windy.
What have you been up to this week, Frankie?
I'm doing great so far.
Yeah? I saw your karaoke video.
Yes.
Good job, man. Good job. And Frankie just getting set up. So, Frankie, what do you got? What do you got for us? What's the world going on? What's going on in the world for weather?
There's a storm heading for Japan. It's going to turn really cold again as well. Like Tokyo, Japan, Kyoto, Japan, Osaka, Japan, and all these places.
What else, Frankie?
I'm just, wait a minute, I'm just disconnecting the keyboard. We're reconnecting the other keyboard because the battery's permanently dead.
The batteries are dead, Frankie said. So that happens. Here's my keyboard, and that could happen someday to me too. I could be on the show and I could be like, no, keyboard. It could happen. Brandon Houck was at the Santa Claus parade. He likes to do civic things. That's one of the great things about him being the radio host he is. He's involved in the community, whereas I'm not. How's the Santa Claus parade?
Well, I can tell you, Santa Claus is coming to town. I've been hearing that song on repeat for the last 2 hours.
I hate that song.
And
Dear
other
Lord.
songs too.
No wonder you've got that crazy giggle. You're so burned out from it. That's a coping mechanism, isn't it?
Pretty much. Yep.
Awesome. Well,
Pretty
it's
much
good to hear
off the
it.
float and onto the podcast. That's how I roll around here.
This just in. Imogen identifies coping mechanism of Brandon.
That's awesome. Yes, so good parade. I think I waved to 1,000 people, and my hand is sore from waving, so I won't be waving anymore tonight. All right, so just so you know.
This just in. No waving from Brandon tonight on the show.
Out.
I've waved myself out.
This just in. Frankie's keyboard might be soon operational.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh
Okay.
Yes. Oh yeah, and we had an awesome fireworks show too. It was awesome. So
Fireworks
that's why I'm
show.
really late, because the fireworks distracted me. I was on my way back, and then all of a sudden there's fireworks, and I'm like, well, better stay here and watch the fireworks. And I did.
I didn't know that fireworks was a Christmas parade thing.
I guess only in this
And
town.
I said, my keyboard's back online.
This just in, Frankie's keyboard is back online. Frankie McDonald.
I'm doing great so far. And the weather all across the eastern United States and Americas. That means it's going to bring lots of rain and wind all across the eastern coast of the United States. Then I got a big Thanksgiving travel next week. Then I got a whole lot of, there's a big storm headed for the entire eastern United States. Next week, it's gonna hit Ontario, it's gonna hit Northern Ontario, it's gonna hit Wisconsin, Ohio, New York, Washington, D.C., and then Virginia and all these places in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, because the cold air is hitting all the way down the states. It's going to be a big storm in Ontario and Quebec and things like this, and East Coast of the United States with high winds and heavy rain all across Maine, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, Washington, D.C., all the way down to Florida and things like this. The winds will be coming from the north in Texas, in Cancun, Mexico, and those places next week for Thanksgiving week. Then it got lots of weather heading for Vancouver on Saturday as well, Seattle, Portland, and things like this. It's been raining in Los Angeles earlier. There's one storm coming right after another all across the entire eastern United States of America.
One storm after another. Looking good tonight, Frankie. What's going on in South America?
Weather in South America. And weather down in South America, it's going to bring really down South America, weather's going to be warm and things like this, and down South America, the weather for there, as in, I'm looking up the continent, South America. And down South America, there's a lot of thunderstorms and rain in Venezuela right now, including up around Colombia, Peru, Bolivia, and those places in northern Peru. There's a really windy and sandstorms in northern Chile because their summer coming up on December 21st. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in southern Chile, lots of high winds, heavy rain going on in the south coast of Chile. A lot of snow up in the mountains in southern Chile as of right now. And lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in Brazil next week as well, including Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, Brazil, Brasilia. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on there right now. And Balkan Islands getting the high winds and heavy rain as well, because summer is coming up in December. And the weather all across England, there's lots of storms coming from England, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland, those places as well. All up around France and Spain and Portugal, weather there is going to bring lots of cold weather up in northern Norway, Finland, Sweden. It's right now. Moscow, Russia, it's really cold right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on, lots of rain in Italy, then it's heading for Algeria.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to rain quite a bit in the Mediterranean area, and you may even see some snow in Switzerland and Austria and places like that, and Bosnia and Herzegovina in the hills. What about in Russia, Frankie?
Right now in Russia, it's really, really cold. It's getting much colder in Siberia right now.
How cold's it going to get there, you think?
Really, really, really cold in Siberia. Yakutsky Magnet, and they said it's going to be minus 70 with the wind chill there.
Holy. That's pretty cool. What about Japan, Frankie? It looks like a lot of new snow is going to Japan.
Yes, and Sapporo, they got heavy rain hitting for Sapporo, Japan. Then they got really cold air hitting for Japan too, and South Korea and things like this. Lots of cold air in South Korea, bringing snow in Seoul, South Korea, and those places. And Vladivostok, Russia is getting snow and rain and things like this. The stormy going on there right now. Lots of snow up in Mongolia right now, in Siberia, Russia as well. And you got some really warm temperatures in Hong Kong right now. Lots of thunderstorms and rain going on in the Philippines and places like this. And Cambodia, Thailand, and those places. Up in India, they're entering the dry season over in India. As of right now, tropical cyclone just hit Bangladesh.
Is everyone okay?
Then don't know yet. They'll be on the news later on. And did you hear about this? It's really dry in northern India because their monsoon season's over.
Looks pretty dry in northern India right now. Down along the coast, could be a lot of rain down there, but not into the continent itself, eh?
And up around it's in the Middle East, so like lots of rain going on off the coast of Saudi Arabia and things like this.
Yeah.
Because we got change of showers going on in Saudi Arabia as of right now.
What about Australia, Frankie? What's been going on there?
It's really hot there right now in Australia.
Hey, Frankie, did you hear what happened in South Africa this week?
In South Africa,
I heard there was a tornado.
it was
You
really
hear about
bad tornado in South Africa. It was really bad there right now. Cold, hot temperatures, cold temperatures fighting each other. South Africa, lots of rain, thunderstorms going on in Gabon, Congo, DR Congo, Uganda, Zimbabwe, and all these places. And in Mozambique is soon be the rainy season, so Madagascar, Liberia, and Mauritius Islands as well. In Southwest Pacific, lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in East Coast New Zealand, Southeast Coast New Zealand, and hail, things like this. Then you got a system heading for North Island, New Zealand as well. That'll be the tropical cyclone season, similar to Atlantic hurricane season. It's going to bring a lot of tropical cyclones to North Island, New Zealand.
Is that your prediction for this year, Frankie? What about for that Earth, that volcano, Frankie?
It's going to erupt anytime in Iceland. And I just did a video for them.
Did you? Okay, we can check
It's on my
that
YouTube
out.
channel.
Do you guys want to watch Frankie's video about
Yeah.
Iceland?
Yeah.
Anybody? Anybody want to watch Frankie's video?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, you're really enthusiastic. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm setting this up because that's what I do. Is I set things up. Okay, okay. Are you ready for this, Frankie?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh.
Let's get to it then.
This is Frankie McDowell, my own team station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major volcano is supposed to erupt in Iceland. They evacuated a whole lot of people in Iceland because the volcano is acting up in Iceland right now, spewing volcanic ash up in the air. As for November 13, 2023, I want every single person to not to travel to Iceland at this time because the volcano is really dangerous. That could erupt anytime now. I want every single person to be prepared. All airplanes, aircrafts, helicopters must avoid Iceland because the volcano is acting up in Iceland. Because
Is that audio working?
Yeah. Yeah, it's coming through.
Is it? Because I don't know if I clicked share audio. Let's
Yeah,
just
go
try
for
this again. Share sound. That'll get a better quality. Sorry, everybody. Let's start this again. Okay, here's Frankie's video about Iceland.
this is Frankie McDowell, my own team station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major volcano is supposed to erupt in Iceland. They evacuated a whole lot of people in Iceland because the volcano is acting up in Iceland right now, spewing volcanic ash up in the air. As for November 13, 2023, I want every single person to not to travel to Iceland at this time because the volcano is really dangerous. That could erupt anytime now. I want every single person to be prepared. All airplanes, aircrafts, helicopters must avoid Iceland because the volcano is acting up in Iceland. Because the volcano can be really, really, really dangerous. That can spew volcanic ash up in the air. I want every single person in Iceland to be extra prepared since they evacuated a whole lot of people in Iceland because the volcano is acting up. It may change the weather, it may change the weather patterns and currents and things like this. All aircraft must avoid Iceland because the volcano is acting up. Because the volcano is really, 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 really bad. It's happening right now. The volcanic ash is going to have it spewing up in the air. And a major volcano is about to erupt in Iceland anytime now. We do not know yet. I want every single person in Iceland to be mighty prepared. Don't travel to Iceland at this time. Don't go to Iceland at this time. Because the volcano can be really dangerous in Iceland. It's acting up as for right now. Do not travel to Iceland. If anybody lives in Iceland, be prepared for major volcano. Be safe and stay safe. And stay away from Iceland. Be safe.
Great video. Great video.
Okay, guys, let's do a guy acting like a dog.
I got a new dog this week, Frankie. Brand new puppy.
Thanks for watching, Frank Down.
That's a great video.
Hey
Okay.
everybody, it's Frank Down. Here's my world tour update. For my world tour, I will need an agent, I will need a logistics, I will need a lawyer, I will need everyone. When I travel to every single country on the whole entire face of the planet Earth, I'll be performing on stage, dancing on stage, and doing comedy skits and doing speech about my weather reports and my life, about my YouTube channel, things like this. When I go on the world tour, I'll be going to every single country in the world. I'll be at the indoor Finuans and outdoor Finuans. When I travel to every single country on the planet on my world tour, I'll be going to every single country in the world. I'll be going to every country in North America, every country in South America, every country in Europe, every country in Asia, every country in Africa, every country in Oceania, even Antarctica. When I go on the world tour, I'll be going to so many countries in the world. My world tour will not be ending at all. It will be never ending world tour for me. My world tour will never end. There'll be multiple times I'll be visiting to every single country in the world. Multiple times. I'll be going to every single country on the entire face of the planet Earth. I'll be going to so many countries around the world. I'm Frank Down.
Oh, those are great videos. Every country in the world. What will happen to people, Frankie, if they aren't prepared in Iceland?
They're doomed.
They're doomed.
Okay, what does doom look like? What's going to happen? How will they be
When a
doomed?
volcano erupts, that's going to affect a lot of people.
In what way? Is it going to be like another Pompeii, just Icelandic version?
Icelandic version of volcano. And guess what?
Luckily,
There's a total solar eclipse hitting right for Sydney, Nova Scotia on Monday, April 8th, 2024.
nice. Nice.
All you
Total-
guys are hitting for Sydney, Nova Scotia.
I really hope I can do that. Really hope I can do that.
Is Brandon Hell coming to Sydney?
I may have to fundraise. I may have to crowdsource. I don't know. What about
That's
you,
a good
Brad?
idea.
Oh yeah, I'll probably have to do the same thing. Flights in Canada are expensive.
They are, especially because it's like I can't just like
Total-
get on
Total
one
solar
plane.
eclipse is once in a lifetime event in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Total solar eclipse is once in a lifetime event in Sydney.
I want to be there. Poverty is my only issue in life, but we got time. We got time to figure this out.
Yes.
I haven't heard back from this new job, so it's time I apply to EI. I'm starting to spend through the majority of my summer earnings, as happens. Anyone got questions for Frankie McDonald Jr.?
Yeah.
Somebody?
Frankie,
What's up?
you have a prediction for when the volcano will erupt in Iceland?
Anytime now. There's no change in the eruption. There's no change in Iceland. It's going to erupt anytime now.
That's a good answer. Very good. I like it. There's another volcano erupting somewhere. You know another volcano that's erupting?
Somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
And then Italy.
Yeah.
Kamchatka. There's one in Italy going? I didn't hear that. But fortunately, I think the thinking from geologists is that the explosivity of the eruption in Iceland probably won't be enough to really affect Europe. Now, for the people who from the town who are gonna, I mean, it may not be good for them if and when this volcano does go off. So certainly, local destruction, quite likely. Yeah, quite likely. Yeah.
Today they said they got almost all the pets out of that little community in Iceland where the volcano is a threat. The pets are out.
The pets are out. Brandon Hauk, you were out at the Santa Claus parade, and that must have been really, really awesome.
Oh yeah, it was awesome.
Couple things that happened. There has been a fatal avalanche incident already at Peter Lougheed Park there in the Alberta side last weekend. So Avalanche Canada hat comes out early this year.
Mm-hmm.
Big question for you on tonight's forecast. We got two different models saying two completely different things. And okay, he knows where I'm going with this. So if you look at the ECMWF, you're like, well, it's not so bad, I guess. It's going to be winter weather, but if you look at the GFS, you see a different story.
Oh yeah.
In the next 10 days. So that's something I'd like a prediction on, a solid one from here. Is it going to get Arctic cold through most of BC, or is it going to be just winter?
Winter. Well, I guess I can. I guess I'm here to potentially break that down once I try to get this thing to work, because I'm really behind today because I was waving at 1 million people.
1 million now.
1 million, yeah. I'm gonna change it up, make it 1 million, because it feels like the whole city was there tonight in downtown, all ready to party.
Brooks population 1 million.
Well, it's actually 13.
All of Calgary came.
Pretty much. It felt like Calgary. It was so busy, and I trying to get out of there was a challenge. And then once the fireworks started to go, everybody stopped and nobody was moving. So you're very lucky I showed up tonight, because if we continued another hour fireworks show, I'd still be over there doing.
I am very lucky.
Yes, very.
That is correct.
So that's Brandon, you're in Calgary today.
Oh no, I was in beautiful Brooks, Alberta.
It just felt like Calgary, Frankie, because there were so many Santa Claus parade people.
Oh yes, so many. And I also sent a couple videos in from tonight, so hopefully everybody gets to enjoy that. A great treat of fireworks, and oh boy, awesome stuff. Okay, awesome weather for a parade, like -1 degree. Like, wow. We had the parade about same time last year, and the temperature is about -18, and wind chills felt close to -30.
I recall that. Yeah.
My
and it
hand
was on a Thursday night, much the same.
Yeah, much the same. And my hand was frozen right through the whole show because I was out there. So I stuck it out the window waving, and you have to wave at everybody. And yeah, it was cold.
I remember saying, like,
story.
Since when do they do a Santa Claus parade on a Thursday night?
Oh, well, Thursday night and Moonlight Madness. So everybody's out shopping till midnight tonight. It's madness out there, I tell you. It's madness. Now, I knew you'd like that. All right, yeah. So I guess I better get on. Well, the weather this week actually has been pretty decent weather.
For you?
For me. For BC, it's been pretty rotten throughout the week, especially north coastal sections dealing with that significant rain and snow in the Terrace and Stewart area. And we've also had a blast of snow last night. Kind of missed us here in Brooks, but areas to the south and southern portions of Saskatchewan got a pretty good, at least 10 to 15 centimeters of snow last night. And that snow moved through southern Manitoba today. And now that snow has moved off into northern Ontario. And temperatures in northern Ontario are like 15 to 20 degrees this afternoon. So they're in for a bit of a shock as that cold front slices its way through. And another story I'll talk about briefly here is the nor'easter heading for the east coast of Atlantic Canada this weekend. Could be in for big wind, big rain, and parts of New Brunswick and Quebec and Labrador could be in for some areas might get 50 centimeters of snow this weekend. So they're in for quite a surprise, that is for sure. Now, we're going to be dealing with a low pressure system off the BC coast tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous, I tell you. Daytime highs at least mid to high single numbers, pushing 10 degrees across the province. And that warm weather also extends into parts of Saskatchewan as well. Still remaining quite stormy and unsettled on the north coastal section of British Columbia there. Then as we go on into Saturday, that warm air sticking around. Looks like this will likely be our warmest day of the next few days, with temperatures once again pushing your double digits on the plus side Saturday afternoon. And then we get a bit of a change in the weather scenario as the low pressure system moves in on Sunday. That's going to bring us a cold front late day Sunday. So Sunday will be still quite warm, but we're going to see showers developing across central northern portions of the province, including a risk of freezing rain in the high level area. And then that's going to be a pretty good blast of snow Sunday night into Monday. Looks like we're going to miss out on the bulk of the precipitation further to the south, but that Arctic front is going to slice its way through. And we're going to be in for some much colder air to start to descend from the north as we go into next week there. So it looks like this model really wants to bring in those temperatures dropping below the freezing mark, as well as that GFS model really hinting at that colder Arctic air to descend from the Yukon later on next week. So yeah, looks like
Well, if you were to go to like Thursday night, midnight on the GFS,
if I could, if I have to update that, I have to go put premium on here. But I saw that. Yeah, it looks like we will see that colder air mass, and I'd say at least, yeah, we'll likely see a return to some winter conditions as we go through the middle part of next week there. And another story I have to share about from this week here. So as you know, they have tools up at the International Space Station because they have to fix things up there, and
yeah, you can't just go to the corner store.
Yeah, so they can't go to the corner store. So buddy up there, I don't know who did it, but somebody let go of their toolbox up in space, and well, the toolbox is floating around Earth right now, and they're
30,000 kilometers an hour,
probably at 1,000 kilometers an hour. And when you're up in space and your toolkit's floating around, it's kind of hard to get another toolkit because you're up in space. So anyways, if somebody tries to catch that toolkit as it flies around Earth, another rotation, I heard it is visible in binoculars, but I don't think so. But anyways, it's going to hurt when it hits you.
It is very visible. It is at a low enough altitude. It is visible. It can be seen with standard binoculars with weird amount of clarity. You can see the details on it.
Just really?
Yeah.
Could you imagine your toolbox is now like, yeah, it's going like
it's just whipping around
10,000 meters a second, like,
yeah.
So I got the model right here, Brandon.
Yeah. I guess I will go out of share screen here. And I also found out this week too, this is interesting fact about cockroaches in space. And
cockroaches in space.
Diamond, that last year Russia closed their borders to the rest of the world because of the conflict.
Oh yes.
So tell us about cockroaches in space.
All right, I gotta find it here. 2 seconds. I know where is it? Where is it? I know I would have been prepared if I didn't have a parade, but
so here we're looking at next week on this ECMWF model. A week from tonight, we could go Thursday night, even. And so they're saying, it's not that bad. It's maybe in northern Manitoba, northern Saskatchewan, and maybe up there, and But look at -4 in Prince George. That's not so bad. But you go to the GFS, and you get a different story. Bam. You get some real cold air coming in by Friday the 24th into Rocky Mountains, and just in northern BC, Caribou's here. So this is the question: is it going to be this, Or is it going to be that? That's a pretty big difference.
Oh yeah. Probably we'll know more about that till by next week. I know it definitely will be cooler. So we won't be basking in 11, 12 degrees by the middle of next week. But so we'll just have to keep an eye on that. Arctic depends where that Arctic high goes. It can change direction in a blink of a finger snap.
At 10,000 meters a second.
Oh yeah. So I found my cockroach story here. So
What about Vancouver? What's the weather like in Vancouver this Saturday?
Vancouver.
Full of cockroaches. Definitely. There'll definitely be cockroaches in Vancouver this weekend.
Yes, especially. And you do not want these, you don't want to mess with these cockroaches. So cockroaches raised in space. So if you have a cockroach raised in space, like maybe up at the International Space Station, they
Why would
become
they do
quicker,
this?
stronger,
You're messing with things you don't understand. It's like,
faster, and tougher than the cockroaches on Earth. So don't mess with cockroaches in space. Just
don't
saying.
do this, people. Next thing you know, we've populated the universe with cockroaches.
They're probably in the toolkit. Who knows?
That means you'll be heading for Sydney, Nova Scotia, all you guys on Monday, April 8, 2024 for total eclipse.
Are there cockroaches in Sydney, Nova Scotia, Frankie?
They get earwigs and things like this, and June bugs in the month of June.
Oh yeah, that's not so bad. June bugs aren't near as bad as cockroaches. You got cockroaches down there in Vancouver Island, don't you, Imogen?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we got tiny, they're very small. Not like the coolest cockroaches ever are the Madagascar hissing cockroaches. They're the ones that nightmares and legends are made of. But no, the ones that we have are just, they're very, very small. They're very non-threatening. They die easily. They're the wussiest of all the cockroaches.
And they don't hiss at you.
They don't. They just run away and hide and then die easily. They're very disappointing. Against the legend of cockroaches, they suck. Oh, and Frankie, to answer your question about Vancouver, Vancouver might be getting some rain this weekend. It's going to be very damp, a little cloudy, a little sunny, and a little rain on Saturday. That's about it. That's Vancouver.
Sometime in December, it's supposed to be a big storm hitting for Vancouver.
Ooh, lucky them. Is it going to be a snowstorm or just lots of rain and wind?
Lots of rain and wind for Vancouver, too. And they had an earthquake somewhere in the world.
Somewhere non-specific, just somewhere in the world. Can you narrow that down?
Breaking news. Earthquake somewhere in the world.
Somewhere on Earth, something happened. You figure it out.
This just did. Earthquake somewhere in the world.
Papua New Guinea just had they had a 5.3 magnitude earthquake in Indonesia today.
5.3. That's pretty good size. You'll feel that. It'll shake the walls pretty good, eh?
West of Africa, Indonesia.
That would shake the walls pretty good. When's the last time you felt an earthquake down there on the island?
Oh boy, it was a while ago. The last memorable one would have been, I think, actually the night that Lemmy died. We had an earthquake that night. That was kind of wild.
The spirit of Lemmy.
Yeah, Lemmy. The day that Lemmy passed, we had an earthquake that the whole island just rocked. And I decided that was just Lemmy tuning up. Is what caused it. Lemmy kicking open the gates of hell and tuning up, plugging in his amp, and we had an earthquake to celebrate. We don't have a lot of activity here. I've heard that there's been a few, but if you notice it, that's kind of a novelty. It's generally off the coast enough that we can't feel it.
Can't escape major earthquakes forever, can they, Frankie?
People in Vancouver, we can't escape from major earthquakes forever.
That's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
You ever feel an earthquake out in Saskatchewan, Hank?
Do I have what in Saskatchewan?
Have you ever felt an earthquake in Saskatchewan?
Oh, no. Even Alberta has more earthquakes than Saskatchewan does, and that's really saying something because Alberta almost no earthquake, right?
That is correct.
I mean, there has been a tiny, tiny, tiny little earthquake over near Moose Mountain where Brandon was showing pictures that it snowed recently. Moose Mountain is a little park in kind of the southeastern part of Saskatchewan. There's been tiny earthquake there. once or twice.
Tiny earthquakes in the tiny mountains of Saskatchewan. Cypress
Moose
Hillside.
Mountain, take that with a grain of salt.
You haven't had any snow yet, so there's nothing to talk about in the snow front. And there was a Northern Lights show that everyone got really excited for in the weekend. It looked good for a little bit on all the gadgets. Didn't last too long. You didn't go catch it, did you?
Mm-hmm.
It was cloudy.
They like to call things mountains out here on the prairie that aren't mountains.
That's not necessarily true. Do you know what the scientific definition of a mountain is?
Yeah, you know.
The Rocky Mountain.
Like, oh, look, it's a mountain. Oh, okay. Yeah.
The definition of a mountain is 1,000 feet from base to summit.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I was just going to say your mom, and then with that explanation, I'm right.
Mhm.
This is just an arbitrary pot shot at your mom. I've never met her. Oh no, she was here once. No, she seemed quite lovely. Now that just seems mean.
Yeah. Yeah, she was very nice to you. I remember.
See, it's better if I've never met your mom, because then it's just so out of the blue and arbitrary and meaningless. It's just a pot shot for the sake of a pot shot.
Yeah, that's what she said after too. She said it would have been better if I'd never met Imogen. No, she didn't say that. She didn't say that. She said you're lovely, and she was correct. We haven't talked to Hilding yet. Lovely Hilding, how you doing out there in Grassy Plains?
Well, we've had a pretty much uneventful week with warmer than usual weather. We've had in the pluses every day, and not even frost at night several nights. But we've had flurries of snow just about every day around noon for the past week, which that's pretty much melted off by this afternoon. There was hardly anything left again. So it's adding to our moisture, but we'd kind of like it to freeze and actually snow once and be winter, but you can't complain too much when it's warm.
Well, no, they had record snowfall in Anchorage, Alaska. That's not too far from you. A record snowfall there. And then we had state of emergency declared in parts of France from record rainfalls. And a hiker, he drank from puddles and ate tadpoles to survive in the Texas desert. So definitely not rain in the Texas desert. You can eat tadpoles if you need to, I guess. You can probably go a couple weeks without eating if you need to. Just drink the puddle maybe and save the tadpoles next time.
I got major news for you. The asteroid 1997 XF11 headed towards the Earth on October 26, 2028.
Is it going to bypass the Earth altogether?
It's going to cause a lot of earthquakes.
Okay, what year was that again? Did you say 2028?
Yes, asteroid 1997 XF11, October 26, 2028.
Is that the one they call Apophis, Frankie?
It's 1997 XF11.
We shall call it George.
Apophis is 99942.
When is that heading for Earth?
Let's find out.
Can we
Oops,
circle it?
I think so. Probably. Will Apophis hit the Earth in 2029? Thanks to additional observations of Apophis, the risk of an impact in 2029 is looking really bad. Actually, it was ruled out, which is bad for me because I really want an asteroid to punish the humans.
Hey, Joey and Imogen, are you ready for a major earthquake in the West Coast, like 9.0 or greater magnitude?
You know how I got ready, Frankie? I moved away from the West Coast. I said, to hell with that. Bad weather and earthquakes, and I'm going to go up to the relatively geologically stable Caribou Mountains.
And California's supposed to get a major earthquake anytime soon.
See, I took a different method in terms of preparation. I filled my house with precariously balanced, delicate glass objects all over the place. There are sharp things everywhere, just like a lot of kitchen knives are all right on the edge of the counter. Wine glasses everywhere. I don't drink wine. I'm allergic to it, but I just bought a ton of wine glasses and put them on bookshelves all over the place. There's also a lot of unstable bookshelves with oversized, very heavy books. I figured this was the safest method to have all of my delicate stuff and the bowl in the respective china shop ready to go, just queued up. So at the first sign of an earthquake, I'll know. And this will be an early warning system. I've also decided to take all of my running shoes and thick-soled boots and whatnot and put them very high and difficult to get to so that I don't have to worry about them getting filled with broken glass when I'm running through the room to get them. They'll be safe to wear.
Those are really good ideas.
It seemed quite effective. It was very well thought out, and I put some time into it.
I used to have this thing when I was young, and I lived in a basement apartment. I had this like big kind of master bedroom sort of. It was like, I think what it actually was, my room was it was like a downstairs games room, but it was my room, and and I had, because I'm an artist, and I was carving things, and I had art and guitars and things. So what I did was I had things stacked in ways all over my room and sitting in ways, and like if I had like because you see I still have figurines and stuff, I'd have things in ways that if you just touch them the slightest, like stuff would just fall down everywhere. And then I'd have friends who'd come over and they'd be drunk, and then of course they'd trigger it and they'd knock things down everywhere, and I'd be like, look what you did. And then for some reason I thought that was really funny.
And did you hear that Indonesia could even get a magnitude 10 earthquake? What happens if a magnitude 10 earthquake happens somewhere in the world?
It could fracture times and space continuum, Frankie.
What happens if a magnitude 10.0 earthquake happens?
Very large tsunami is possible. Very.
I've ever studied the waves that happen with earthquakes. Earthquakes actually cause the ground to go up and down like waves. I had a friend who was in an earthquake in Costa Rica, and there was a fence, and the waves went up and down, and they raised the fence posts up and down all in line, right down the line, and it broke the wires off in between every post.
Frankie, when was the most powerful earthquake ever recorded?
9.5 magnitude earthquake in Chile in May 1960.
That's correct. That's correct. Did you Google that, or did you just happen to know that?
I knew it a long time.
Nice. Good work. Good work. Yes, that's correct. 9.5. So can a 10 happen, Frankie?
Never.
No fault long enough to generate a magnitude 10 earthquake is known to exist. And if it did, it would extend around most of the planet. The largest earthquake ever recorded was the 9.5. That's a fault that's 1,000 miles long. A megaquake was what it was.
Ultra quake, what does that mean?
The next biggest ones ever recorded were the Prince William Sound, Alaska, the 1964, the 28th of March. That was the one that made that huge tsunami, because a crazy amount of avalanche fell into the ocean, which produced a wave that was, we could look that up in a minute, but I think it was like hundreds of feet high, if I'm not mistaken. Sumatra, December 26, 2004, the 9.1. So we recall the what, like hundreds of thousands of people killed. Earthquake.
200,000. Over 200,000 people killed.
And probably much more than that even yet. And Kamchatka, Russia in 1952 had a 9. So, yeah. That's a lot of powerful earthquakes. What's everyone got? You guys got something? Lituya Bay, Alaska, July 9th, 1958. The 1,700-foot wave, the largest ever recorded tsunami. So try to think about that. A 1,700-foot high wave.
Big waves.
Is there going to be
Ooh,
Chinook
sweet.
winds in Calgary?
Oh yes, Chinook winds. We're gonna get more of those, especially as we get into the weekend here with the downsloping winds. So you get the storm system on the Pacific coast. Joey gets miserable weather. Imogen gets some miserable weather, and then those winds go over the mountaintops, and then they downslope on the other side of the mountains. While the precipitation, the mountains act like a force field, keeps all the precipitation on the BC side of the border. While we just get the winds blowing over the mountains, and you get your Pacific air mass Chinook winds. It's pretty awesome. It can go from -20 to 20 above in one day. It has done that before.
I've seen it. I was there for I was plus 15 in January 2008.
Yep, I was there too.
Plus
yeah.
15, and then it went down to -36 to 9. Wind chill came 100 kilometers an hour. It was unbelievable. And that happened like from 9 in the morning to 6 in the afternoon, evening.
Oh yeah.
Like, bam! Like 45-degree temperature swing.
Oh
We
yeah.
saw it one time near Dawson Creek where it went from 40 below in the morning to 40 above at noon and 40 below by 10 o'clock that night again.
What?
Yep. That was Fahrenheit, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Fahrenheit.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, let's date how old Hilding is. He said Fahrenheit, guys.
Yeah. But still, that's a big swing.
It is.
That's a big swing. Yeah. Because when you're in 40 above Fahrenheit's like a couple degrees Celsius above, but
I'd say about 10, maybe. Yeah.
so you're looking at a pretty close to 50-degree swing there. Yeah, because -40 Fahrenheit's the same as -40 Celsius.
Yeah.
And next week, there's a big storm headed for Eastern United States for Thanksgiving travel because there are big holidays next Thursday.
Is it going to ruin Thanksgiving for the Americans, Frankie?
It's going to happen next week. That's what they said. AccuWeather said so. That's going to cause travel disruptions and things like this down the stateside.
Will at least
They're gonna
ruin
have to make
some
it-
people's Thanksgivings in America?
Their Thanksgiving, that's their holiday, not my holiday. It's their holiday.
I'm hoping it ruins some Thanksgivings.
They'll have to
Take
make a
that,
snow
America.
turkey. Yeah.
Take that, America. Your Thanksgiving's ruined. You should have had it in October like the rest of us normal northern people. I guess they're not very northern down there. Like, there's still people are probably still mowing lawns in Texas.
Oh yeah. And
Yeah,
in Florida too.
And according to back in February 2021, Trey had a brutal cold winter, bursted all the pipes, power went out, and things like this.
I remember
yeah, I remember that.
we were doing this show at that time, and it got really cold in Texas, didn't it? People
Yes, it
died.
did.
People died a lot. Coming back to the 1,700-foot high wave, imagine Imogen surfing that thing.
That would be awesome. That'd be super cool. So this happens every once in a while, totally not related to the ocean, but I mean, maybe it is. Saturn's rings are actually kind of going to disappear from view in a couple of years. It happens every few years where it's just it goes right edge on. So it's like looking at the edge of a sheet of paper where you can't see it because it's just right in that perfect lineup where Saturn's going to look naked, which is kind of awesome. So I'm looking for that.
And those rings they're not big.
No, the rings of Saturn are only a few feet from top to bottom. Like their height, their thickness, whatever scale you want to measure them on, it's not very thick. They're very, very thin. They're losing a lot of their mass. I mean, they have been for a while. They've been getting thinner. Saturn's on a diet. The rings are getting thinner. But in 2025, the rings are going to be for a very short time. They're going to be completely invisible to us. Just sad little earthlings hoping to see something whipping around Saturn.
Here's our travel conditions in the States. It's going to bring storm in the normal Eastern United States.
It's probably about 1 kilometer thick is what I'm seeing. Earth-based telescopic observations indicate Saturn's rings are about 1 kilometer thick. What's funny about, I mean, that's what other sites are saying too, but the site that comes up first that's showing this on the Google,
Are you looking at Wikipedia? Don't
No.
cite Wikipedia.
it's a government site, but a government science site, but
Is
it's
it NASA?
actually the National Institute of Health website that it came up on. So, okay. Sure.
Look at the Thanksgiving map of Thanksgiving travel all across Eastern United States next week.
Very cool.
Code red.
So,
Code
Saturday-
red. What's
Nice.
going to happen, Frankie?
Big storm all across the entire Eastern United States of America, including
gonna-
Wisconsin and Minnesota and all these places.
You know, maybe it's just my inner ninth grader, but on that map that Frankie showed, the code red area kind of looked like someone drew a wiener on his map.
Uh,
It's a big storm. It's a legend. Code red.
America,
It's a big
You're
what
gonna-
now?
you're going to get a wiener for hot Thanksgiving this year, America.
Your weather is going to be wiener infested. It's going to be raining hot dogs.
It's raining hot dogs again, Frankie.
It's perfect barbecue weather. Bust out your grills. That's how you deal with it.
How often does it rain hot dogs on the guy?
Often.
It's happened.
And did you hear about this? It's supposed to be an earthquake anytime soon, somewhere in the world, like Indonesia or Japan or California.
This just in, earthquake could happen soon, somewhere in the
Somewhere.
world. Somewhere in the world. Frankie, how can people all over the world find you?
My blue skies at Frankie MacD. My Twitter is Frankie MacD. My Facebook is Frankie MacDonald. My Linktree is Frankie MacDonald. My Instagram is Frankie MacD1994. My TikTok is FrankDonald1994. My Clapper is FrankDonald1994. My Twitch is FrankDonald1994. My Snapchat is Frankie MECD1. My YouTube channel is Dogs Wolves. And my LinkedIn is Frankie Donald. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Donald. You're listening to Community Roger Weather Report every Thursday nights.
That's right. You can see the show live streams on Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude. You can see the video version as well if you radio listeners. If you want to find Imogen.in online, you got something to say, Imogen?
Well, Frankie, I was going to ask, why are you not on Cameo? Cameo would be a
I-
perfect platform
I
for
don't
you.
do Cameo. I just do my YouTube videos.
Cameo is an awesome platform that would be a really good fit for Frankie, and I've been trying to convince him to get on there for a while.
I don't do Cameo. I just do my YouTube videos.
You're so accommodating with all your fans, and that'd be a great way for them to get in touch with you and get all those personalized messages and love letters that you send out.
Wait a moment. I don't do Cameo at all.
But when we do have that total solar eclipse next year, then we all will be staying on Frankie's couch. He does do
Yeah,
Cameo.
Holiday in Sydney, Nova Scotia hotel.
Thank you, Frankie.
Yeah, what's that? What's that other adult streaming one that people are getting? They're always saying you should. What's
Oh, is that OnlyFans?
OnlyFans? They said you should start an OnlyFans, and I'd be like, Joey OnlyFans. I said that's a
What
great
happened?
idea.
What happens if-
Only fan singular.
And what happens
Hey, stop that!
what happens if someone up and none of it starts out that he be taking videos up in north, like up north and up in the Arctic.
Are penguins in the Arctic or Antarctic?
Antarctic.
Ah,
Antarctic.
so penguins are not Arctic animals. It is penguin free.
Yeah, it's like they had those Coca-Cola commercials back in the day at Christmas time, and there's like the polar bears and the penguins together. And I remember
Oh,
watching that and saying to my mom, I was very young. I was like, Mom, polar bears and penguins don't live together. And she's like,
you're focusing on the wrong thing, child.
Yeah, no. She taught me to like look at stuff and think about it.
And wonder why they're having some Coke, just watching the meteor shower or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Enjoying
yeah,
Coke
exactly. It's
together.
like because polar bears drink Coke, without penguins.
Penguins and
around.
bears
So-
like Coke and meteors. This is the lesson that we were learning as children.
The
This is the
clear,
way to
yeah.
befriend them,
Clearly, it's just when you put the penguin and the polar bear together that gets ridiculous.
right? But offer them something delicious, and they'll be friends for life. I mean, that is a good rule of life in general.
Thanks for coming on the show again, everybody. Associate producer Imogen, weather specialist Brennan Hope, Frankie, the world's best weatherman, Cowboy, Hilding Donaldson, myself, Joey Only here, Wells, British Columbia. Look it up. It's a nice little place up in the mountains we got here. It snows.
And it's full of bears,
lot.
not just Joey.
Yeah, and caribou. Seen a really big bull caribou this week. Beauty. Yeah, like I remember like looking at him thinking, imagine walking around with that on your head, like.
You know, I'm just going to put this out there. I used to live with 2 drag queens, so there was a lot of large head pieces. You kind of got used to wearing large, gaudy things on your head, and antlers may have come into the mix on occasion. It was a delightful time.
That would be a good one. That should be like a new trend for like humans.
Antlers.
Yeah.
Antlers and horns, man. It was a trend for a while when subdural implants and body mod got crazy. There was a lot of like little horn implants that people were getting.
I saw that. Yeah, that was stupid.
Not my jam.
I thought the beards growing out of my face was completely absurd and ridiculous, but I guess if you were a moose and you had this, and when it finally falls off, they're all
that's the show. It's time is up. It's midnight.
Okay. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks, Frankie. Love you, buddy.
I have my artificial beard.
Nice.
And Frankie's gone. It is one of the coolest toques ever. The Beardo. It's got a detachable beard. Actually, cool feature of it. If you look real close, it actually got a little mustache. It got the Chuck Norris version. See, Brandon's going full.
Look at this, full on beard.
See, Brandon's is impressive.
That is, and then you just had it there.
Well, yeah.
In my costume bag that's sitting right here that I haven't put away since Halloween.
Not just
Brandon Hope's coming to town.
Canada.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, that's really great.
See, okay, so this is branded as an unripened Santa. When a Santa is fully ripe and ready to do deliveries, the beard is white. An unripe Santa, a juvenile Santa, does not have a white beard. So this is what Brandon's showing us.
Yeah,
He's a premature Santa.
Premature scintillation.
That's what I said to everybody on the parade route tonight, that Brandon Hoke's coming to town. I heard that song 3 times tonight.
Brandon.
That is horrifying.
Brandon Houck is coming. It it does have a nice. I wish Brandon Houck was coming to town. That'd be all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be. Uh-huh. Yeah, I lost the cord that plugs in my beard trimmer. And so I just slept a couple of days. And then it was like so much hair, and then I was like, oh, I'll shave tomorrow, I'll get to it, and then I didn't, and then I was like, okay, well I can use the beard trimmer to bring it back, so I could at least. I hate how it feels, man.
Oh.
Like, how do people
That's why I
walk
have an
around?
electric one. So then it feels good. Then you trim.
I think that's what I'm gonna do because,
and then it's done.
I think I've hit old man age where I'm gonna buy that with the 3 heads and be like grandpa in the morning.
Put shaving cream all over your face.
No, just the electric motor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm using that right now. Oh yeah. I can shave in 2 seconds. And it's done. I never ever have to worry about cutting myself.
I do like the razor feel, but it's like I say, like I'm going through razors fast because my hair is getting thicker and tougher with age. It's not just like anymore. It's like I'm like, my God.
Yeah, and it rips too. It feels like you're ripping your face off.
Like, when did this start? Why does this happen? Why does this keep happening to me? For a lot of my life, I couldn't grow a good beard. I still can't. See?
Better than I can. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm like 50 years older than you. At least.
At least I do turn another year on Sunday, but that's okay.
Oh, what, 31?
Oh yeah. Sunday fun day.
Well, happy
Oh.
birthday,
Oh
Brandon.
well, thanks.
Couldn't happen to a better guy surviving another year.
Surviving another year around the sun.
One more trip. You're like, hold my beer and watch this. I'm gonna go around that sun.
Oh yeah. That's right. And that's why the beer fell off. Couldn't handle the trip, you know.
Yeah. Well, I haven't eaten well today. I was up in the mountain cutting firewood, and I came in, and then I laid down with the puppy, and we had a nap for a while. And now he's back napping on the floor.
Oh yeah.
I gotta eat something. You know what I really did that was awesome was I bought an air fryer. So now when I'm hungry, I can just be like, bing. It's like a
Air
microwave.
fryers are
But
awesome.
it's like a microwave. It works so fast. It's like
Make a whole bunch of chicken wings. There you go.
that's a
Boom.
good idea.
Oh yeah. The air fried chicken wings are good.
I
Oh.
got some too. Yeah, I'm gonna go make some chicken wings right now.
Awesome. Had that
Okay,
last
then.
week. Last.
Thanks for coming on, everybody, and appreciate it. Days of just waiting for something to happen. So I went and got a puppy. It's like I can't wait for the show any longer. Now I got someone to talk to. It's a good dog. Okay, bye everyone.
Toodles.
Uh,
Yeah.